Turner Sports. Postseason baseball is back at Wrigley.
Just can't even imagine what playoff baseball at Wrigley Field is going to be like.
Cubs fans hope their energy will inflame the offense that started with the slightest of sparks in Game 2.
It's a safety squeeze. He does it again. He's going to bring another run in. Joe Matt plays a little small ball.
An experienced club, the Cardinals are likely to be unfazed. Losses don't linger, and crowds can be quieted. But that doesn't solve the problem of facing the tenacious Jake Arrieta.
He's a Bulldog. We love playing behind that guy.
After the Mets' hopes of going up 2-0 were violently taken out from under them,
Utley going hard at second as the tying run scores.
they are now left with a choice. Be distracted by controversy, or rally around a fallen teammate and capitalize on the advantages they still have.
We'll control it, but yeah, they're angry.
While the Dodgers' aggressive play elevated the tone of the series, they must sustain it tonight to take back series control. It's the National League Division Series.
Jason Hayward had a big year, as always, in the field, but at the plate, too. Looking to earn some dollars in the offseason as a free agent. Couple of hits already in this series that's even now going to Chicago, where Anthony Rizzo is looking to find that magic and that stroke that had him one of the best players in the National League this season. It's part of a dandy double dip, all kinds of enveloped in drama, as we welcome you to MLB's pregame on TBS, presented by Chrysler. Casey Stern here alongside my usual castmates, the Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez and Gary Sheffield and Dusty Baker. Hey. Boys, you ready? Saddle up for some drama. We've got plenty of that and 2 games to get to after Arrieta against Waka. It's the Dodgers and the Mets. Matt Harvey is on the hill. And just a few days ago, that would have been the biggest story, or getting caught how somehow Dark Knight got caught in traffic. Now, it's not so much. It's all about Chase Utley, the suspension, the appeal, the status. With more on that at the calm before the storm down on the field at City. Here's our own Sam Ryan. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Casey. So this is what's going on with the suspension, the appeal. It was Sunday night when Major League Baseball responded to the incident in Saturday's game in which Chase Utley hit Ruben Tejada a slide into second base. Tejada trying to turn the double play and Utley trying to break up the double play here. Obviously, Tejada went down with the fractured right fibula. Well, MLB responded last night, issuing a 2-game suspension, which Utley had appealed. So Major League Baseball was hoping that the appeal would be heard today before today's Game 3 of the series. It's a 2-game suspension. Keep in mind, these 2 games are here at Citi Field. But the appeal was not heard today. It could take up to 2 weeks for that appeal to be heard. So Chase Utley is available to play tonight for the Dodgers. He's not in the starting lineup, though, for the Dodgers. It's Howie Kendrick at second base for the Dodgers against Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey on the mound for the Mets. And I had a chance to catch up with Matt Harvey. I asked him, how did the Mets respond to this incident?
I think we go out and we win our next 2 games at home, and you know, there's no really other way to do that than go out there and play our game, play our baseball, and you know, pick up 2 wins.
Terry said he spoke to you about keeping the emotions in check for this big start. What else did he tell you?
He just said go out and pitch my game. I think you know, as he said all year long, and you know, in the past, he gives me the ball. He loves giving me the ball, and you know, that's enough power to me. So it fuels my fire, and you know, I love pitching here.
And Matt Harvey said he knows all about sticking up for his teammates and defending them, but he also knows that he's not afraid to throw inside if he has to. But it'll be most effective for him to be out there on the mound as long as possible for the Mets to win this game and to keep the zeros on the board. But should Chase Utley get in the game for the Dodgers tonight, keep this in mind. There's a little bit of history here. Back in April, game between the Phillies and the Mets when Utley was in a Philly uniform. Yeah, you see Matt Harvey, he hit him. That was after Davey Buchanan, and then the Phillies pitcher hit 2 of Matt Harvey's Mets teammates. So there was some retaliation in that game. And by the way, it is Wilmer Flores starting at shortstop. He's the guy now with Ruben Tejada out. Keep in mind, when the starting lineups and the lineups are announced before this crowd at Citi Field, first playoff game in Citi Field history, Ruben Tejada is expected to be here and be announced before this crowd, Casey. Should be electric.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. And let's start now with the suspension, because we all had some time to try and recover. Not much sleep, all fired up a couple of nights ago. Now we get the suspension. So we'll get everybody here. Let me start with you, Chef. It's on the field, initially called legal. They go up to New York. It's legal. Joe Torre says, well, want to take another look. Then you get the injury, you get the media, you get the New York fans, and somehow we get here with the suspension. Does that smell to you? What's your take on it?
Well, I told you yesterday, just all you have to do is listen to what Joe Torre said. He said he didn't like the slide from day one. He got to go back and look at it. You knew he was going to do something, which the 2-game suspension is basically a watered-down suspension. Because as players, we know we have a legal right to, just to prolong this thing as long as we want. We could just send this thing on to next year. I could retire and still have this suspension. So Joe Torre knows this, so he had to give the people something.
Pedro?
I just think, Joe Torre had to cover his back and cover, baseball's back by making that decision. But legally, we all know that it's not going to be that simple to suspend a guy, especially for the first time ever in a playoff game. I don't think that's the way you do it, especially with a guy that's going to be retired as soon as these games are over.
Dusty, your manager. Setting precedents going backwards doesn't seem to make sense, right? Don't you go into the offseason? And look, we didn't like the slide. It was late, it was up high, it was more of a tackle. But as a manager, don't you want to see, hey, all 30 managers get in a room for next year. If any of your guys have a slide like this, here's the video, immediate 2-game suspension, rather than now let's set the precedent immediately during a postseason.
Well, that's not how it happens. I mean, they don't really ask us anything. This sort of mandate, this to be. The thing about it was a late slide. I figured after hearing, from Joe Torre that something was going to happen, probably a suspension, and probably a 2-game suspension, because that would take him out of New York, not on the field, not exciting the fans, and back to LA. So this is exactly what I thought.
Except, and let's get to that point, except it doesn't, right?
No.
Because of the appeal process.
The appeal process.
You understand that, I understand that, you guys as players understand. Chef, I'll start with you. What is the point of, during the postseason, we know you're going to get time to go ahead and have your lawyers and legal team put together a case.
Right.
He could have even dropped this appeal today instead of yesterday and made it take even longer. Who cares whether or not it's next season? Why even deal with the appeal process when we know it's a stall tactic?
Well, I mean, for Utley's side, I mean, he already knows what's going to go down. He ain't worried about this at all. He want to get in this game. Me knowing him, he wanted to play in this game in New York because he's a Mets killer.
Right.
So he want to do more damage to him. Everybody that knows Chase Utley knows he's a killer when it come onto that field. He wants to get in here and damage you.
Pedro, if he was not injured, if Tejada had some kind of an injury where he came back in game 2 or game 3, if he had an injury where, let's say it was a sprain, it wasn't a break, do you think he would have been suspended, Utley?
If you stop to look at the video, he should, because Utley is a veteran. He knows the way he should be sliding. He's a second baseman, and not only that, he had, a clear look of how to take Tejada out without harming the kid. That's what I'm not. I'm a fan of hard playing baseball. I'm a fan of being hard nosed. I'm a fan of being out there, to beat the opposition. But I'm not a fan of you, especially. This is like a crime that you're thinking about committing. And when you see Tejada, he had enough time to just sit down, choose which one of the 2 legs you want to take to actually take him down and disrupt the double play, which is your duty.
Yeah, but what messed it up is when he pirouetted at second base.
Yeah, but Dusty, we all know sometimes there's a cat on the field, there's a snake on the field, and there's a dog.
Right.
Chase Utley is a dog. That kid found out the hard way. He's playing against a dog.
And you will see a whole bunch of times. If you go back and look, Chase Utley takes a whole bunch of people out.
This is how he plays.
That's how he plays.
If you watch this guy.
He doesn't make it right.
Yeah, but this is normal slide. His normal slide is this slide here. Now, the problem was that this kid didn't understand his environment. Correct. You can't turn your back against a dog.
Right.
Especially a biting dog.
Because
and that's what he did.
You know who's going to bite you.
You know who's going to bite you.
And Dusty, he said, go ahead, Pedro.
You're going to tell me that that's his normal slide?
That's his normal slide.
I played with him. He slides hard, and that's a fact.
Yes, but the thing about him is he will block the base. If he's playing second base, he'll block the base with his legs. He'll put his knee into your back. That's how he plays. When you do that to him, he wants to fight. He wants to get up and say something to you. But now, on the giving end,
doesn't want to take it.
But he don't want to take it.
Well, let's take a look at some of the other slides.
Are like that.
Pedro, take a look at these. These are the other. Now, Chase said, this is what Petey brings it up. He said, this is how I've played for 12 years. What do you see here, Pedro?
That's a little bit of a dirty slide, but a cleaner one. This is one, he's looking at him. See, he has the time. That's another cleaner slide. And what I'm seeing here is that he slides a little bit sooner, not past the bag like he was.
That's past the bag.
Yeah, but
Joe, that's just the other guy had his back.
He was in front of the bag when he took the throw. See,
but see,
the other one, he was behind the bag when he took the throw.
Exactly, but see, both times against the same guy is the dirty slide, the late slide.
Okay, but we can't base it on the guy. We base it on how he plays. This guy, Hudley, do the same. This is normal slide.
Right.
If you're in his way, he's going to take you out. That don't mean the slide. You can call it dirty. You can call it whatever you want. This guy is trying to prevent you from turning a double play. Players who play with him love it. Players who play against him
But
hate
if he just got you a few months ago, you should know who's on first base.
Right.
I mean, you should know. I'm not justifying what happened.
Me neither.
But what I'm saying is, you know, he's going to get you.
That I agree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
But in a playoff game, first series, Ruben Tejada. This is why he's there.
Yeah, but that didn't come into Utley's mind.
No, I understand
That's not important to
I understand that. I understand that. But give Tejada what gets forgotten the credit. He hung in there.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing who Utley was, having to play in 2010, hung in there, that gets lost. I'm just glad we didn't say that's the way the game is.
I just think it's lack of experience. I just think it's lack of experience.
Let's take a look at, now, Matt Harvey obviously would have been the story if not for the Utley scenario. You look at his numbers during the year. We had talked so long about innings limits. Want to get to you about what TC said, Terry Collins, before the game. So he said, emotions are going to be on the game today. I told Matt, quote, specifically, not to throw at anyone, end quote. And you guys have differing thoughts. Let's start from a hitter's perspective with you, Gary.
I mean, I love what he said here because he takes the umpires out the equation. Because now if Harvey throws inside at somebody, the umpire's hearing what he said to everybody else. Don't throw inside, don't hit nobody. But now if he throw inside and hit somebody, you know he didn't do it on purpose. So to me, that makes all the sense in the world. But me knowing certain pitchers, I'm not going to go up to the plate still feeling comfortable that he's still not going to hit.
Pedro, from a pitching standpoint, you don't like it.
You already know.
How about the comfort level for your opposition now that everybody knows publicly? He said at the press conference, I'm not going to throw at you.
I tell you what, if I don't tell you in what count I'm going to throw you a curveball or I'm going to throw a fastball or a changeup, I don't want you to relate anything else to the opposition. I don't want you to feel comfortable, especially after something like this happened. I don't want you to tell anybody that I'm not going to be drilling the first three.
But why,
I want you to go out there with your mindset thinking, this crazy guy, this Pedro guy, is going to drill me in the head at some point during the game. Well, because that's what everybody thinks.
Right, but it's certain dogs.
I want you to go out there naked. I want you to go out there thinking that I'm going to drill you at some point.
I'm going to be comfortable in that box no matter what.
That is going to hurt me sometime because I got someone hurt.
There's consequences.
Oh yeah, we got a problem. We got a problem.
You come at me.
Yeah, but I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm going to do it either.
Right.
This is too important of a game for me to go out there and
But what happens if the umpire sit here and say, if now you hit somebody in the head and we lose
no,
you
I'm
for
not
the game,
talking about the head.
Well, how about from a manager's standpoint, Dusty?
Well, from a manager's standpoint, I'm going to talk to my team. I'm going to tell my pitcher, but I'm not telling the world.
Exactly.
Right. You know, I'm not telling the world. But there's one factor here that I don't think we've discussed. I don't think no matter what happens, it's going to take an umpire to have tremendous guts to kick somebody out of this game.
No.
in New York
But what
City.
if he do?
He ain't gonna do
What
it.
if he do?
He ain't
All of a
gonna
sudden,
do
you
it.
done lost your best
I understand,
pitcher.
but he ain't going to do it, man.
But
I'm
see,
telling you,
no,
because
they
he'll
can throw
never
at
get
my
out of
head,
New York City.
But there is consequences that you got to worry about me coming up.
Hold on a second.
And you got it right, buddy.
We got to go to break. I just want to clarify. Did you say I want him to go out there naked?
Yeah, I want you to not know what I'm doing. I don't want you to know what I'm doing.
That's Spanish translation. That's Spanish translation.
Yeah. I learned, you said I jumped. What did I do today? I jumped.
Oh, you jumped clean?
I jumped clean. Go out there naked, Ding Dong Johnson. I give
jump
up.
Clean. You like
By game
like
5, I'm done.
Yeah.
When we come back on the MLB pregame presented by Chrysler, we'll update the AL games and catch you up on Cards and Cubs. Stephen Piscotty's ready, or you. Don't move.
Chrysler continues to break new ground in fuel efficiency, quality, and innovation, which is impressive. But doing it for 90 years is a reason to celebrate. And there's even more to celebrate with 0% APR for 72 months at the Chrysler Anniversary Celebration event. Now get 0% financing for 72 months plus up to $1,500 total bonus cash on 2015 Chrysler vehicles.
If you're the band Europe, you love a final countdown. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Some might call us old-fashioned for being the only distillery in America that makes its own barrels. For making our own charcoal and taste testing every batch of whiskey until it's perfect. Of course, anyone who calls us old-fashioned won't hear an argument from us. We know how to take a compliment. Jack Daniels, the way it was is the way it is.
This is the sound of a car engine. Hidden within is damaging surface wear, up to 75% of which happens during warm-up. But new Castrol GTX Magnatec has intelligent molecules that cling, providing an extra layer of protection from the start. New Castrol GTX Magnatec, instant protection from the moment you start.
The MLB postseason pregame show on TBS is brought to you by Chrysler.
Cubs stud rookie and most likely the rookie of the year in the National League, Chris Bryant said a couple hours ago he can't imagine what it'll be like. It's going to be crazy. Cubs and Cards coming up in Chicago as we welcome you back to MLB pregame on TBS presented by Chrysler. Play ball. It's MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, get over to playball.org. We get over to the AL games. The Blue Jays putting it on the Rangers. That one bottom 5 right now, 7-1. The bringer of rain, Josh Donaldson. Speaking of guys winning hardware, probably the MVP. He gets one with a home run. Colabello as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, how about the Royals bouncing back down 6-2 with a huge 8th inning? Ryan Madsen doesn't pitch well, but you know what? He gets the win anyway. Some big ABs, including that from Eric Hosmer and Salvador Perez in that one. We've got some big ABs coming up, and certainly they can get provided in the postseason. We've seen it before with the Rockies and the Cardinals from Matt Holliday. However, so far, not so good. Will he pick it up? He'll get an opportunity against Jay Garrietta next.
We will find this guy. We've got our best people looking for him.
What exactly have I found?
The greatest secret in the history of our country.
John Case at your service, Madam Vice President.
Impressive.
You ever feel like you're spinning?
Like you're stuck in the same place in life? Just going round and round and round? Yeah, man. Been there.
No, actually spinning.
Oh, we can fix that by going to Midas. They have a great selection of tires. Sorry, Doug. I thought you were trying to get deep.
It's time to take a closer look at your tires. Get up to $160 back by mail on a set of 4 Goodyear, Cooper, and other select brands. Tires, brakes, oil, everything.
Still haven't tried FanDuel's one-week fantasy football leagues? Over 1 million fans have already won money. Choose a league. They start at $1. Pick your team. Done. Winners get paid the next day, and there's no season-long commitment. FanDuel pays out $75 million a week. Get off the sidelines and get some. Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Go to FanDuel.com, enter promo code PUNTER. That's PUNTER.
I have a fix on it, Captain. I believe I can lock on it. Put it on the screen.
Great entertainment now comes with a great offer. DirecTV customers who switch to AT&T Wireless can save $120 a year. Plus, right now, get $500 credit for every line you switch to AT&T when you trade in an eligible smartphone and buy any smartphone on AT&T Next. Call today.
The 1962 escape is the greatest unsolved mystery of the 20th century.
There's no one alive that we've ever shown this piece of evidence to.
Once I handed him that picture, I think a light bulb went off in his head.
This is a complete game changer.
I knew that we were going to prove something big.
People are going to be shocked at what they see.
All right, Pedro, you know who that is. Remember 2013. Can we hear our first one here at 2015?
It is Waka Waka time.
Waka Waka Waka. Brilliant a couple of years ago. Can he get it done again tonight? We welcome you back to MLB Pregame on TBS. It's presented, as always, by Chrysler, Casey Stern, and Pedro, and Chef and Dusty. Guys, we talk a lot about problems. And unfortunately, we never in sports seem to talk enough about the solutions. And Pedro, you've got one that might work in how to fix this from happening with Utley and Tejada and the injuries moving forward. What is it?
Well, I'm not an expert at this, so I'm gonna need your help. I'm gonna need your input on this one. But I'm thinking, the rule says that you need to have an arm length away from the bag in order for you to have a clear takedown of an infielder, right?
Which he is.
Okay, we have it to the side of the bag, to either side, right or left. Now, what about in front of the bag? Because it looks to me like this slide is a little way too late to me. And as you can see it, I have it highlighted there. If he was to slide still a little bit further back, let's say 3 feet further back, he still has time to take down Tejada, choose the leg he wants to take away with him, choose the arm that he wants to take Tejada out with, and at the same time, keep the slide legal and safer for Tejada. I was suggesting that if we have it on the side, why not out front of the bag where you can still have time to slide away from the bag, away from the defender, and make it a little safer, just a little safer. And at the same time, the umpires can have a little guideline. I mean, I'm talking for the future. I'm not talking for now all of a sudden bring up a rule. Right. I'm talking for the future. If something is going to be done.
It will be done.
Wouldn't be smart to actually have a little distance so that the umpires can have a guideline of where to say is legal or illegal, or it was safe or it wasn't safe, when it has consequences?
Well, from the side of the base, it's already a rule.
Right.
You got to be able to reach the base if you take a guy out. If you can't reach him, reach the base, then I've seen umpires go in and call him out. Yeah. But the problem with, him coming down the line and saying you have to slide early, which a lot of players is not going to give way to that, because me being a former shortstop, you see Robinson Cano and you see smart first basemen say, I'm going to hold this guy on a little closer to the base because I want him to get a late jump. Now he gets a late jump, and now he's wide open as a slide comes in. For me to be a shortstop or second base, I can drop low and I can hit him with the baseball.
I'll say.
So these are things that infielders, these games they play, from the first baseman to the shortstop. This kid was just inexperienced.
Yeah, he was inexperienced, and the throw from the second baseman was high, it was up, he had to wait on it, and then he tried to pirouette at the same time, and Utley slid late.
Really late.
Really late.
If you're going to, we said this the other night, protect catchers, right, Buster Posey rule, and have no collisions, why are we letting middle infielders who have no gear on get rung and belled this way? We've got to get to a point where we say, maybe that's how it was played. Maybe it doesn't work exactly the same in 2015. Back with more than a minute.
What are you saying, I'm old?
I'm not saying you're old,
They
Dusty.
sure appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, you're no good.
I'm not saying you're old. We were playing Atari before this. More on the MLB on TBS pregame show presented by Chrysler. We got more coming up. Do not move.
You know, Blue Moon didn't always come with an orange. Early on, I noticed people serving our beer with lemons, kind of like a traditional Belgian wit. But we brew Blue Moon Belgian White with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness. And that's when I got the idea for the orange garnish. So what I would do is bring bags of oranges to bars and show bartenders how to garnish our beer.
People loved it, and when they realized they brought out the orange peel in the beer, they loved it even more. You could say the orange on top brought it all together.
What is normal? Our normal is 200 miles per hour. It's 500 degrees. It's protection for 15,000 miles. And 40 below. Our normal is anything but. Mobil 1, energy lives here.
This is the feeling of turning a game you love into a lifetime of cash. DraftKings.com, the daily fantasy baseball destination, is giving away over $300 million this baseball season. And the games are one day, so you can play for your share every single day. Just pick your sport, pick your players, and pick up your cash. Step up to the plate at DraftKings.com. Play with promo code SLIDE and get free entry in our daily contest. Get to DraftKings.com.
Do you really think that's a good idea?
If everyone jumped off a cliff, would you do it too?
You'll lose interest.
It's just a phase.
It hurts me more than it hurts you.
Where are your manners? Were you raised by wolves?
You're gonna give me a heart attack. When you have kids, you'll understand.
This is the life of a rebel. Sorry, Mom.
Hey, you know what time it is? Postseason time. That means time to get your favorite team's gear at MLB.com shop. Official jerseys, hats, t-shirts, we got them. Official bats and balls, check. Real deal postseason memorabilia, you know it. What do you want? Stuff for him, stuff for her, stuff for the kids. We got it. Get your piece of the postseason right here at MLB.com shop and get shopping.
The MLB postseason pregame show on TBS is brought to you by Chrysler.
Welcome back to our pregame coverage on TBS. I got to show you what a savant Pedro Martinez is. So I always ask him, who does this guy remind you of? And boom, spit an image right away. I asked him last night, who does Jake Arrieta remind him of? And this is the answer he gave me.
Scream! This is the guy that, we're close to Halloween too. This is the guy that looks like that killer that shows up in that mask in a Scream. And actually, if you look at his face, his expressions, he actually looks a little bit like that mask, you know? Scream.
Somebody's got to get out there to Chicago now and start wearing those masks.
Oh, yeah.
Pick, quick one-word pick.
Well, I'll tell you, tonight it's the spirit of Harry Carey and Ernie Banks and Ron Santos, so I'm going with the Cubs.
It's going to be pretty much the same with Arrieta until somebody change it. I'm going Cubs.
Well, I know Scream is there, but I got to go the opposite side because if not, St. Louis, the best record in baseball, is not going to have a chance. So I got to go St. Louis and Waka Waka.
I don't gamble much for a reason, but considering I'm not gambling, I'm pretty sure I'll bet on Arrieta. We'll be back. Much more on the double dip. Enjoy the baseball, everyone.
True luxury is not just a heated leather seat or refined chrome accents. It's the places it will take you. The Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most luxurious vehicle in its class. Get 0% APR financing on the 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee for well-qualified buyers, plus $500 Jeep Celebration bonus cash. The most awarded, rewarding SUV ever.
FanDuel has definitely changed my Sundays. It's made it a lot more interesting.
FanDuel's one-week fantasy football leagues are paying $75 million a week with immediate cash payouts and no commitment.
I've deposited a total of $35 on FanDuel and won over $2 million.
Just choose a league, pick your team, and get your cash winnings after Monday night.
It's like the best adrenaline rush ever.
Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Go to FanDuel.com and enter promo code END.
Welcome to the postseason. Another beautiful play. And a swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Holiday back up the middle and a throw home. Not in time. Deep in the left field. That one's not coming back. The Chicago Cubs even up this series. Oh, what a scene it is. We welcome you from Wrigley Field, Chicago, the legendary home of the Chicago Cubs, and a passionate fan base ready for their first postseason in 7 years. Our coverage of the 2015 National League Division Series on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. This series all tied at 1 apiece. The Cubs now have the home field advantage versus their longtime rivals, the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. Brian Anderson, Dennis Eckersley, and Joe Simpson. Great to have you with us here tonight. The Chicago Cubs stole away the home field with that Game 2 win, Dennis, and now they have home field, and they have maybe the best weapon in the postseason on the mound in Jake Arrieta.
How do you stop the hottest pitcher on the planet? The numbers are through the roof the last 4 months of the season. Historic. And then you see the filthy stuff that he's got. This guy, high velocity, 95 and up. He's got breaking balls that are just swing and miss, wipe out breaking balls, command of everything. His confidence is sky high, through the roof. This guy may be unstoppable, Brian.
Well, and the only question was, how would he pitch in the postseason? He certainly answered that with that wild card complete game shutout. All right, Joe, the Cardinals, they have been Dragon Slayers before. They've got Michael Wacha on the mound tonight, but they've had a lot of success matching up against some of the game's best pitchers.
You can call these guys ace kickers because they have knocked out some aces in the postseason the last 4 years. Names like Halladay, Bumgarner, Kane. The last 2 years they've beaten Clayton Kershaw. And oh, by the way, tonight they've got a guy on the mound in Michael Wacha, who was an all-star this year himself. He won 17 ball games. And just 2 years ago, he had an outstanding postseason. He threw a near no-hitter in the division series. He was the National League Championship Series MVP. He's been here, done this. He's not going to shy away from this either.
And a matchup of two tall Texans here tonight. Part of the story of this is the Wrigleyville experience, but also, even though it's October 12th, Matt Weiner, it feels like the middle of summer. The wind is blowing out tonight at Wrigley.
Absolutely, B.A. It is 75 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. And as the guy holding this microphone, I'm all but obligated to report it's a beautiful day for baseball. Unless you're a hitter, or perhaps a pitcher, or possibly an outfielder. The shade at this 5 o'clock Central Time start is covering most of the infield, but the batter's eye remains bright here, tough on the batters. Meanwhile, the wind, notoriously fickle here at Wrigley Field, is blowing out and hard, about 20 miles per hour. Batting practice balls were flying out of here, and the players say to all fields. I spoke with Tommy Pham, the Cardinals center fielder today. He spent about 53 innings in the outfield here at Wrigley this season, but admits he's never played here when it was blowing this hard.
Oh, man, this is set up for a beautiful night at Wrigley, huh? How about it? Game 3, Cubs-Cardinals, coming up next on TBS.
It's here. The most advanced iPhone yet. Get the new iPhone 6s at T-Mobile, the network that's doubled its LTE coverage in the past year. Our new extended range LTE signal now reaches twice as far as before and is 4 times better in buildings. Want more? Get the lowest price on iPhone 6s with trade-in. 0 upfront and just $5 a month with Jump on Demand. Get it now at T-Mobile.
We're family. We'd do anything for each other. But this time, those bonds were definitely tested.
Frog leg for my baby brother.
Don't frogs have, like, 2 legs? So they should have 2 of these? Since I'm active duty and she's family, I was able to set my sister up with a sweet membership from Navy Federal. If you hold it closer, it looks bigger.
Eat your food.
My big sis likes to make tiny food, and I'm okay with that.
Open to the armed forces, the DoD, and their families. Navy Federal Credit Union.
The beautiful sound of customers making the most of their United flight. Power, Wi-Fi, and streaming entertainment. That's Seize the Journey friendly.
Living in the moment. It's not an easy thing to do these days. We're all so connected, except to the things we should be. Life's too big to be held captive like this. Can an SUV be your escape vehicle? You have no idea. Introducing Hyundai's family of SUVs, the all-new Tucson and the Santa Fe, the official pace cars of living.
Wrigley Field, Chicago, and we are just about ready for tonight's first pitch, Game 3 of this National League Division Series. Gorgeous night, 75 degrees. The winds could be a factor, not just with the balls in the air for the hitter, but also for the defenders tonight. Keep an eye on that throughout this evening. Cardinals won the opener in a shutout for nothing. The Cubs came back and won Game 2 6-3, and the T-Mobile batting order for the St. Louis Cardinals is turned in by Mike Matheny. A lot of the regular names there that we've seen in the first 2 games, but Tommy Pham gets the start today. Will play center field, and Mike Matheny telling us Pham is in there because Arrieta is on the mound, and Pham has already had one moment in this postseason. That was a pinch hit home run in Game 1. And Eck, it's going to be Jake Arrieta on the mound. He's coming off a complete game shutout with 11 strikeouts in the wild card game against the Pirates.
This is the man, to say the least. I tell you, this guy is the hottest pitcher on the planet. Nobody can argue that. The numbers go on and on. We'll get on in the numbers as we get to this game. But you see what he's done this year. Possibly the Cy Young Award winner. I mean, this guy's got gas. He's got a breaking ball, wipeout breaking ball, a little funky deception, throws across his body. But this guy is the man. And his catcher tonight will be Miguel Montero. They have worked together all year long. His infield defense backed him up beautifully in Pittsburgh when he needed a couple of double play balls. Addison Russell, Starlin Castro turned it for him. The outfield this afternoon has Schwarber in left, and Soler, after his big game in Game 2, is in right. Dexter Fowler, as usual, in center field.
Soler with a big 2-run home run in Game 2 also had a double. All right, all the pieces in place. Mike Winters will call the balls and strikes. The home plate umpire, he says go. We play ball. Game 3 of the NLDS is underway. And it starts with strike 1. This crowd is a live wire crowd, and they have been in the Wrigleyville area for about 4 hours now leading up to this 5 o'clock local start time. And again, another game tomorrow, Game 4, as Carpenter, a high fly ball. Soler, as if he was calling off Starlin Castro, makes the catch for the out. I mean, the wind's blowing, but not that hard.
I'll tell you what, it's scary. I don't care if you're the man, the greatest pitcher on the planet. When the wind's blowing out here, you could be in trouble. It's hard to throw a shutout here.
I'm sure Arrieta appreciated that first move by Soler. I got this, no problem. There you see the Chevrolet pitch tracks and the breakdown of stuff for Jake Arrieta. And his stuff is, in this particular window,
as good as it gets in all of Major League Baseball right now.
And he hit 97 in that game, that wild card game at Pittsburgh. His fastball will sit 93 to 97 typically.
Facing Stephen Piscotty. And Piscotty's had a big moment already in this postseason. That was game 1 as well, in that 4-0 St. Louis shutout win over the Cubs. Piscotty hit a 2-run home run in the 8th inning of that game. And Piscotty fouls out and away, and there's that slider that you're talking about, Eck. Now he calls all of these breaking balls his slider, but they come at you in all kinds of different velocities and angles.
He could throw it harder. He could throw one over 90, and you see that one 88.
And the 1-2 pitch. Down he goes. Arrieta strikes out Piscotty for out number 2.
Boy, he is feeling it already. I mean, what a way to get off to a good start. A slider before that, and then he paints. He dots the outside corner with some cheese. This guy, I'll tell you what, there's so many words to talk about. Is he electric? Is he filthy? I don't know. He's in another world right now. And he works from the third base side of the rubber and closes. Looks like he's going to throw across his body. Very tough to pick the ball up.
Now facing Matt Holliday. And a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. This is for ball 1. Holliday with an RBI in game 1 of this NLDS. He drove in the first run of the series. And Holliday's up there swinging. Now, Arrieta has faced the Cardinals a number of occasions this year. And typically when you face Arrieta, especially for those teams in the division that know him well, you try to get on him early. You be very aggressive. That is also the reason Arrieta is coming off an historic second half of pitching, because the pitch count is typically low and he can power through a lineup.
It's amazing. He talked about how he goes at it. He goes like 90%, and if he wants to, he can put it to another gear. All the great pitchers have that, but his numbers are ridiculous. I mean, everything has gone just his way with just electric stuff. You see Holliday bailing a little bit.
And they say he's able to check his swing there. First base umpire is Mark Carlson. Let's take a look.
I mean, he's looking fastball, all of a sudden sees spin and wants to get out of the way. He did hold up. Yeah, he had to be a pretty strong guy to stop that.
And a 3-1 pitch, and Holliday lines one left field foul into these seats. Good catch up there by a Cubs fan.
I think you got to be aggressive, Brian and Dennis, against a guy like this. If you sit back and wait for him to walk you, you're going to have a short day walking back to the dugout. You got to try to get on him in the first pitch or two. You got to look fastball. You just hope you get a count that you can be guaranteed a fastball.
Got him. What a start. Jake Arrieta, 12 pitches, 2 strikeouts.
My name is Martin Oden. I'm a covert operative in the FBI. You will not silence me.
You know, Viagra helps guys with erectile dysfunction get and keep an erection. Talk to your doctor about Viagra.
Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain. It may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing.
Ask your doctor about Viagra.
It's hard to believe you can book over 11,000 local activities right from our app. It's even harder to believe it took you this long to come here. Expedia, technology that connects you to the people and places that matter.
Hello. Welcome.
That's an egg.
It's hard to prepare for something when you're not ready for it, huh?
Absolutely.
Want to meet a car that can detect things before you can?
Yeah.
Meet the Chevy Equinox with available forward collision alert. It can help warn you when you're approaching another vehicle too fast, so you can take action.
I need that.
Ford Escape doesn't have that.
Oh, come on, Ford.
Love this vehicle. Very smart car. This is really nice.
There's only one way to get a gold PS4. And that is not it. Grab a Quesarito or Volcano Quesarito Big Box for your chance to win a limited edition gold PS4 bundle only at Taco Bell.
The Cardinals go 1-2-3 against Arrieta. A couple of strikeouts for Big Jake. Now the Chicago Cubs. And a lineup turned in by manager Joe Madden. Like Matheny, he'll be up for the manager of the year this season in the National League. And Kyle Schwarber is in the lineup today along with Soler. That gives the Cubs 4 rookies in their starting lineup matching up against Michael Wacha.
You can't disrespect Michael Wacha. You talk about the year that he had, 17-7. Doesn't compare to Arrieta, but this kid's got great stuff. Right over the top, fastball, changeup, curveball.
And Wacha facing Dexter Fowler, the switch-hitting center fielder. Strike one from Wacha, a National League All-Star this year. Wacha making the All-Star team for the first year, but had a very poor month of September, and that's why there's a little bit of anxiety moving into this game 3 tonight, especially matching up against one of the game's best in Jake Arrieta.
Well, because of his size, he's 6'6". BA. Mike Matheny was talking about his leverage and how he can throw downhill, and if he will sit at the bottom of the zone, he'll have a good day.
And he misses high, and Fowler has worked the count in his favor at 3-1. There's the 4th-year skipper of the Cardinals. In all 4 years he has been a manager, the Cardinals have made it to the postseason. It has never been done for a first-year or first-time manager. And now Fowler sends one into right field, wind blowing out that way, and that ends up all the way at the track for Jason Hayward, out number 1.
And it is a good Cardinals defense tonight. They've got Steven Piscotty at first base. Yadi Molina, 3rd straight start in this series after suffering through a slightly torn thumb ligament. There's Piscotty at first, big 6'5" first baseman. Colton Wong had his moments in St. Louis, but he can still range left or right to knock down a lot of balls. Pham in center, outstanding. Can go get him, good arm.
Here's Jorge Soler, who earned his way into this Game 3 lineup with his performance in Game 2. And as a matter of fact, Joe Madden said it was what he did on the bases in Game 1 that allowed him to think Soler is fully connected into this postseason right now. And it didn't look like much at the time, guys, but it was a pinch hit walk, and he went first to third on a base hit. And at that moment, Madden says, I think Soler is back where we need him. He's missed 2 months of the regular season with injuries.
I've been impressed with the fact that he hasn't swung out of the strike zone. He's been so patient on base every time last game, and we know he can leave. And I'll tell you what, every ball that goes in the air, I think is gone. Me too. I thought the first one was.
And Soler taking all the way. Wacha in there with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
And in this wind, you can't pitch behind in the count all night. He's got to have to get ahead of the count.
Up and in. And the first base runner of the day, Jorge Soler, continues to impress. That is his 6th trip on base so far in this series. It's his 3rd walk. Pitch arsenal courtesy of Chevrolet for Michael Wacha.
A few cutters in that fastball count right there. You see him when he first came up, it was just fastball changeup. You see the breakup ball a little bit. He kind of reverse splits. He's better against left-handers than he is against right-handers.
A man on for the Cubs. Here is Anthony Rizzo now. I beg your pardon. Here's Chris Bryant now. Bryant and Rizzo have been a big story for the Cubs offensively because they have not hit at all. Bryant's 0 for 11 with 4 strikeouts. Got a couple of double plays in the postseason. And he and Rizzo are a combined 0 for 21 for Chicago. You can forget that. Bryant turns it around quickly. And Cubs fans are glad to see that. Bryant with a single to left, 2 on, 1 out, and the Cubs get something cranking early here against Waka.
You got to take advantage of Walker right now. Adrenaline's pumping. He had to throw a strike. That ball's up. That is a bullet by Chris Bryant. And that's a good sign for the Cubs. If he gets going and the next guy up, Cards are in trouble. Guys, in that struggle in September for Waka, 24 innings pitched, he walked 18 batters. That's not like him, but we're already seeing some signs of some command problems here in the first. He hasn't been out there in a while. He's got to be adrenaline flowing big time. Ball's up.
Rizzo takes a ball down and in. Waka's last start was against the Pirates on September 30th. To your point, Eck, giving up 6 earned runs in 4 innings. Those are the numbers for Rizzo. He's 0 for 10 in the postseason. 4 strikeouts. Postseason that began in Pittsburgh in the wild card game. And it's 2-0, and Yadier Molina will take the slow, calm walk to the mound, and Cubs fans are loving every minute of this.
Well, this is time to regroup right here. Everybody pitching in on that trip to the mound to try to help Michael Walker calm down. He's just 24 years old, but a lot of postseason experience. It was Walker World 2 years ago. Yeah.
Beat Clayton Kershaw twice and was the MVP of the NLCS. His last pitch in the postseason, however, until tonight, was that famous Travis Ishikawa walk-off home run that sent the Giants to the World Series as Rizzo fouls that one off. 2 balls and a strike on the big Cubs slugger, Anthony Rizzo.
That was gutsy right there with 2-0 changeup. Kind of left it middle. He swung over the top. Good call by Molina.
Great numbers against Waka. 10 for 22 career. 2 young guns that you figure are going to be battling it out in this Central Division for many years. A little jam shot right to the shortstop Peralta, and Soler with a base running mistake, and a double play helps Waka and the Cardinals get out of a mess in the first.
Brisket is a cut of beef that's been smoked for at least 13 hours. Bacon is a present pigs give you when you're good. Flatbread is a shape of bread. Arby's, we have the meats.
I've won over $29,000 on FanDuel. Nothing special about me. The difference is that I played and they didn't.
Over 1.1 million people have won money playing one-week fantasy football on FanDuel.
If you think it can't be you, it can be you.
Choose a league, pick your team, and win. Leagues start from $1 and there's no season-long commitment.
Every week I can beat my buddies on FanDuel. Every single week I can win money on FanDuel.
Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Go to FanDuel.com and enter promo code MOTION.
Attention hip and knee replacement patients. Did your hip or knee joint become infected after surgery, resulting in a revision surgery or amputation? Recent studies have linked forced air warming blankets used during hip and knee replacement surgery to deep joint infections. If you developed a deep joint infection after a hip or knee replacement surgery resulting in a revision surgery or amputation, call the Shelton Law Group at 1-800-444-7194 for a free consultation. Call 1-800-444-7194.
I'm a lawyer spokesperson. This is an important message for anyone who took the prescription drug Xarelto or Pradaxa and had a serious bleeding event. If you or a loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered from a serious bleeding event, call 1-800-BAD-DRUG immediately. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious internal bleeding, stroke, and death. Call 1-800-BAD-DRUG. You may be entitled to compensation. Call now for a free consultation. 1-800-BAD-DRUG.
Fellas, one of the things that jumped out at me in that start in Pittsburgh was this hard-breaking ball. The release point, it's low. And from a hitter's standpoint, as hard as he throws, it's hard to pick that up as something other than a fastball. And when it dives like that, it's devastating. I mean, it is amazing down and in.
You know, it's funny. It's one thing, it's a right-handed hitter, pulling off and not swinging at that slider. But when you make left-handed hitters look that bad, it is nasty.
Arrieta will face a tough lefty starting this inning for the Cardinals. Jason Hayward back in the cleanup spot for Mike Matheny for the third consecutive game in the postseason. Hayward has actually good numbers against Jake Arrieta in his career. He is 6 for 18 against Arrieta. And in Arrieta's time as a Hayward is 6 for 16 against him. Arrieta began his career with the Baltimore Orioles as a 5th round draft pick in 07 by the O's. And they traded him here to Chicago as Hayward in the left field backing up on it. And that is over the head of Schwarber and into the ivy. And Schwarber goes crashing into the wall there as Jason Hayward continues his success against one of the game's best. That's a leadoff double for St. Louis.
Well, as we talked about in St. Louis, Jason likes the ball out away from him. He'd much prefer the ball middle away as opposed to middle in. They set up away, fastball ran away. That is really in his wheelhouse.
He hit that ball good, but you see Schwarber, he kind of was gliding, looking at that thing all the way. He did pull his glove up late. I don't think he had a chance. He had to be a burner to catch up with that.
Now Jason Hayward is really swinging the bat well. He's hit 8 consecutive games, even going back into the regular season. And now Johnny Peralta at the plate. And a strike to Peralta to get the count started. Before we get too much deeper into this Cardinal inning here at the plate, the Cubs have Waka and the Cardinals on the ropes in the first inning, and a base running mistake by Soler quiets down this crowd going into the second. Peralta on the ground foul.
That ball wasn't hit that hard. I'm not sure if he lost track of the outs because he broke right away on contact.
Yeah, it's one thing if that's a bullet. You sort of get frozen. Right. But it was just a jam shot. He had time.
Cardinals are 2 for 8 runners in scoring position in the series.
No balls, 2 strikes on Peralta. Heavy hitting St. Louis shortstop. And in the dirt, it's Montero back there for the Cubs again, his 2nd consecutive start. He'll be a big factor in this game with a lot of those Arrieta sliders ending up in the dirt. He's a good catcher, good backstop who brings some offense as well.
Obviously he's looking for a punch out right here.
Hayward, good speed at second. And Peralta fouls it off.
Dennis, you and I were talking about this coming up to the booth this afternoon about how this guy's had, Arrieta, so few tough innings, so few stressful innings. I wondered what it would be like in this setting if all of a sudden the Cardinals did put a run on the board or put him in a tough spot, how he would react.
Yeah, because he really hasn't been stretched. Everything's gone his way perfectly.
31 straight shutout innings.
I mean, please, how many innings do you think he's had to throw 20 pitches? Not very many. The fact of the matter is, what he punched out 11 against the Pirates on 113 pitches.
Right. See, no earned runs there in 10 of his last 13 starts. He has not lost a game since the 25th of July when Cole Hamels and the Phillies no-hit the Chicago Cubs. Arrieta was the mound opponent that day of Hamels. And now Peralta's worked it into a 3-2 count. He's not biting on that breaking ball. Tommy Pham due next. This is the 5th matchup of the year for the Cardinals against Arrieta. Arrieta in 4 starts, 2-1 with a 2.42 earned run average, but none since July. And the payoff pitch stays alive.
Very good discipline on the part of Peralta not to offer it those breaking balls away. even though he'd like to hit the ball to the right side and get Hayward to third.
Hayward with a leadoff double, knocked it over the head of Schwarber in left field. 8th pitch of the at-bat on the way, and Peralta on the ground. That is Bryant, and there is the first out of the inning for Jake Arrieta.
In a game like this, against a pitcher like this, that first run would be enormous for the Cardinals, especially for their confidence, and not to be able to manufacture, at least so far, that run by getting him to third base. That's a big knock.
It's got to be tough to hit a slider the other way. I mean, you know what I mean? A biting slider like Arrieta has. Everybody says, just hit the slider the other way. It's not that easy.
Now here is Tommy Pham now. Well, what a moment he had. His first postseason at bat was a pinch hit appearance in game 1, and he homered in that game. That gave the Cardinals a 2-0 lead in the 8th inning. Hit 5 home runs during the regular year. And drove in 18 runs. He gave him a nice lift. He was injured to start the season after spending 9 years in the minor leagues. Had a chance to make the big league roster coming out of spring training, but then he had a quad injury. Mike Matheny was telling us he was the guy. He was going to be our 4th outfielder most likely.
And that he might have gotten here before this year had it not been for injuries along the way in his career.
One of the 3 major quad injuries that the Cardinals have suffered this year. Matt Adams is not on the postseason roster. He had a full quad tear and actually had to have surgery. Even though he came back at the end of the year, they didn't feel like he was quite ready to play for the postseason. There's Adams in the hoodie, and they went with Tommy Pham instead. Matt Holliday was the other who had a serious quad injury that put him on the disabled list twice. And that is the theme of the Cardinals this year. They have overcome a number of injuries and gotten great production from those coming up from their minor league system, like Pham. 3 balls, no strikes.
Amazing the patience they've had with that cutter. Peralta and now Pham.
Well, Tommy Pham is Arrieta's 6th batter faced. He's already been into 3 3-ball counts.
Right.
Gunning away.
You get a rookie swinging 3-0. I don't care. I mean, he's got confidence in this kid.
Matheny very confident in his group, and this is a team that has won a lot. They've dominated this division that they share with the Cubs. They've dominated the National League. It's been the Giants and the Cardinals over a long stretch. As Pham on the right side, that's Castro who will gobble it up, and there is out number 2, and on the play Jason Hayward over to third base. All right, it's time for records and milestones presented by Jim Beam. Drink smart. And in our records and milestones tonight, career postseason hits. Focus in on Yadier Molina, 90 career postseason hits. One more, and he'll become the active leader all by himself. His old teammate Albert Pujols in there. And no coincidence that there are 2 current Cardinals and a former Cardinal.
Yeah, I wonder why. Does it win?
9 of their last 12 seasons they've been in the postseason. By the way, for more records and milestones, you can go to BleacherReport.com.
Yadi's been jumping on the first pitch when he can.
I think he was looking breaking ball, and they threw a pass ball right by him.
If you've been with us through the series, you know the story. If you haven't, Yadier Molina was questionable whether he'd make this roster. He is dealing with an injured left thumb, ligament damage in that left thumb, his catching hand, and it is not just difficult to hit for him, but also to catch all of these games. And he toughs it out. He is wearing a contraption on that thumb to help keep him protected. And a ground ball, Castro ranging over, tough hop, but he makes the play. On the slow running Molina, the inning is over. A leadoff double by Hayward. 3 ground ball outs after that.
All right, listen up. We all know that DirecTV is better at this whole TV thing. So to beat them, we're going to get bigger. We're going to merge with Cable World.
Cable World? I can't stand those guys.
They're totally incompetent.
That company stinks, and I mean they smell. I used to work there. I had to breathe through my mouth the whole time.
This is going to be fun, firing everyone.
Get rid of cable and switch to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Chrysler continues to break new ground in fuel efficiency, quality, and innovation, which is impressive. But doing it for 90 years is a reason to celebrate. And there's even more to celebrate with 0% APR for 72 months at the Chrysler Anniversary Celebration event. Now get 0% financing for 72 months plus up to $1,500 total bonus cash on 2015 Chrysler vehicles.
Here's something to shout from the mountaintop. Cricket's plans start at $35 a month after $5 auto-pay credit, with more 4G LTE coverage nationwide than T-Mobile or Sprint. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
I am totally blind, and sometimes I struggle to sleep at night and stay awake during the day. This is called non-24.
Learn more by calling 844-824-2424 or visit your24info.com.
Who's ready to have a baby? Buster Posey.
You're not my doctor.
Come on, I'm sort of your doctor. I mean, we both wear gloves, and we always deliver in the clutch. Gloves? Clutch.
No, I'm sorry.
Perhaps we take a vote?
No.
Okay, guys, are we gonna do this or not?
Let him try. No.
Sorta you isn't you.
Honey, you're embarrassing me in front of Buster Posey.
Esurance helps make sure you only pay for what's right for you, not someone sorta like you. Esurance, official sponsor of Major League Baseball.
They're starting to believe there's something magic going on here. They have some beasts in their lineup.
The top 3 arms that they can run out there makes this team so scary.
Seager makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch.
This is a team that is growing more and more every day.
He is safe, and Adrian Gonzalez delivers in the 7th. Series tie at a game apiece. The upcoming schedule is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Mets Dodgers coming up next. Starting to look more and more like we're going to have a couple of Game 5s in the American League as well. The Royals and Astros, they know they'll go to a Game 5 in Kansas City. Blue Jays and Rangers. Right now the Jays are up 8-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Tomorrow night, doubleheader on TBS. Cardinals, Cubs, and then Mets Dodgers. Those will be Game 4s. Michael Wacha back on the mound. We start the bottom of the 2nd inning. Starlin Castro will lead off for Chicago. Shortstop turned second baseman. He'll be followed by Schwarber and then Addison Russell. And Wacha drops that curveball in there for a strike.
And it is a beauty right over the top.
Michael Wacha, at 24 years of age, a big part of one of the best pitching staffs in St. Louis baseball franchise history. Part of a starting pitching rotation that combined had a .299 earned run average. That was the best mark in the National League. And overall, a pitching staff that had the best ERA as Castro takes a ball and Wacha falls behind again. 3 balls and a strike.
Hasn't been real sharp at all. You see, no command. Luckily, get at that double play ball saved him.
And a hitter's count for Castro. A wave and a miss out of his helmet.
That's what makes this kid tough, you know. At any given time, he's going to throw a changeup. He threw Rizzo a 2-0 changeup, and then you see a changeup here. It comes out of his shoes a little bit.
Castro with 2 hits in game 2. Little tapper back to the mound, and Wacha starting to write a bit of a comeback story early. Was down
in the first inning with a couple of men on base. Got a double play, a line drive out that turned into 2 to end the inning. He's fought his way back from a few hitters counts.
Well, this guy started the season 7-0, and he made the All-Star team, and at the All-Star break he was 10-3 with a 2.93 ERA. He had a very good August, and as you said, Brian, a horrible September, one that actually caused them, you can call it skipping a start or moving him back in a start, but they tried to get him to reboot a little bit in early September.
Those numbers against the Cubs poor as well. An ERA over 6 as he misses to Kyle Schwarber.
I think there's an innings thing here too. He's never been in this 200 inning kid. Not that anybody really else is nowadays, but last year he only made 19 starts. This year he made 30, so you wonder why the September was bad. I mean,
could have been some fatigue in there.
Shift is on for Schwarber. And he takes a ball high, and again Walker falling behind.
Which leads to another point about his fastball. He likes to establish it, but sometimes that fastball begins to fade a little bit at about the 45 pitch mark.
Schwarber looks at a curveball in there for a strike. Schwarber is one of 4 rookies in the starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs. That has not happened since the 2007 season when the Arizona Diamondbacks had 4 rookies. As Schwarber into left center field. That ball's hit well. Schwarber will send one out. Kyle Schwarber with a solo shot. And the Cubs take the early lead in Game 3.
This ball finds the basket.
A new baby bull, and he's got power to all fields.
Here's Addison Russell, who asked for timeout but was not granted timeout, and that's going to be a called strike. You don't automatically get it if you're a hitter. You got to wait for the umpire. So Mike Winter said, "No, sir, too late." Wow, what a moment here for the Cubs. Kyle Schwarber has really swung the bat well. He was 2 for 3 and had a walk in Game 1, had a pinch hit appearance in Game 2, but this is looking like a prime time bat for the Chicago Cubs here down the stretch.
Including the Pittsburgh game, he's 5 for 8 with 2 doubles and 2 homers. He's got it working.
Still has the home run of the postseason so far, that bomb that he hit into the Allegheny at PNC Park against the Pirates. Russell right up the pipe. And a foul pop. The wind is blowing that right back into play, and Molina makes a catch for the out. Now the wind is coming off the grandstand, blowing out towards right center. Molina kind of gave up on that in the beginning.
You know, you see this pop up, everybody thinks this ball's in the seat. Look how long Molina takes to react to it. You see Montero doesn't really even get out of the way. It tells you how windy it is right here. When it gets up over the stadium, it comes back.
These flags right above us on the roof are just starched.
It's a good catch by Molina. And Matheny, a 4-time Gold Glove Award winning catcher, was yelling at his catcher that ball was in play the whole time. Here's Montero with a swing and a miss.
He's yelling, it's coming back.
2 outs in the inning now. And Miguel Montero, who incidentally was one of the 4 in the lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 2007 in the NLCS against Colorado.
Boy, he doesn't get cheated, man. He just airs it out.
Kyle Schwarber coming out of the 2014 draft and already making an impact. There's a strikeout. Montero is gone. Walker's out of the inning, but there is a new baby bull. Kyle Schwarber with his 2nd postseason home run, and the Cubbies are on top early.
It's here. The most advanced iPhone yet. Get the new iPhone 6s at T-Mobile, the network that's doubled its LTE coverage in the past year. Our new extended range LTE signal now reaches twice as far as before and is 4 times better in buildings. Want more? Get the lowest price on iPhone 6s with trade-in. 0 upfront and just $5 a month with Jump on Demand. Get it now at T-Mobile.
Every villain knows a getaway car requires abundant power, impeccable style, and of course, the cover of darkness. But what if it's a different kind of getaway you're after? The F-Type convertible and the F-Type coupe from Jaguar. Oh, it's good to be bad.
Jaguar has been ranked highest in customer satisfaction with dealer service among luxury brands by J.D. Power.
So how did you get this gold PS4?
So last week I ran into this guy, Dimitri Two Hands. He used to run with the mob. Anyway, his goons boosted some bullion from the Kamarov vault. But the bars are marked, so they had to melt them down. Now it's in a cookhouse. You know the right guys and have the dinero. People are dipping all sorts of stuff in it. That's how.
Really? Because I heard that you can only win it at Taco Bell.
Grab a quesarito or Volcano Quesarito Big Box for a chance to win a limited edition gold PS4 bundle. There's a winner every 10 minutes.
130 yards now.
Bill's got a very tough lie here.
Looks like we have some sort of sea monster in the water hazard here.
I believe that's a kraken, Bruce.
It looks like he's going to go with the 9-iron. That may not be enough club.
Well, he's definitely going to lose a stroke on this hole.
If you're a golf commentator, you whisper. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
This golf course is electric.
FanDuel's definitely changed my Sundays. It's made it a lot more interesting.
FanDuel's one-week fantasy football leagues are paying $75 million a week with immediate cash payouts and no commitment.
I've deposited a total of $35 on FanDuel and won over $2 million.
Just choose a league, pick your team, and get your cash winnings after Monday night.
It's like the best adrenaline rush ever.
Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Go to FanDuel.com and enter promo code GRIP1.
Picture perfect night here on a Monday night in Chicago, and the wind blowing out. Kyle Schwarber has given Jake Arrieta a 1-0 lead as we head to the 3rd inning. Schwarber with his 2nd postseason homer, hit one in the wild card game, now has an opposite field home run in the DS. And Arrieta deals Colton Wong ball 1 to begin the 3rd inning. Wong had a home run in game 2 on his 25th birthday Saturday night.
A lot of power for the little guy. Bomb the last game. A couple nice plays in the infield.
2 for 6 overall in the series. And Colt Wong is showing a little postseason savvy as well. He's already climbing the list for all-time home runs in a postseason by National League second baseman Chase Utley, who's been in the news a little bit this week. He leads that category with 10, but Wong already has 4, and he's only 25 years old. That includes a walk-off home run in the NLCS last year. There's a hot ground ball, and it's booted by Castro. Recovers and out at first.
When you got an arm like Starlin Castro, you never panic. And the out he recorded in the 1st inning, or the 2nd inning, was no easy play off Molina. He made a smart play, took his time, got the out, just as he did here.
There was some urgency to go get the ball, but once he got it, he calmed down and made the flip.
Here's Michael Wacha, the St. Louis pitcher, at the plate with 1 away. Arrieta starts him with a strike. Thinking about the plays that Castro has made already in the series, the routine, the not so routine, the ground ball that went up and over and around his head on the Holiday that went to a challenge. This one, he's been a busy guy over there at second base, but he's handled the position change very well. That was a move made in August as the rookie Russell took over the everyday shortstop position for the Cubs.
I thought that was a great play when he laid back on that ball in the 1st inning. Excuse me. Yeah, the 1st inning and 2nd inning, and threw him out. He knew who was running, Molina.
It was a very smart play.
No balls, 2 strikes. Arrieta facing Waka, and down he goes, making quick work of the pitcher. Wearing a mic for us today, Brandon Hyde, first base coach. Listen in a moment ago.
Go ball, go ball, go ball, go ball.
There may be no cheering in the press box, but that is not the case in the first base coaching box. Brandon Hyde, who is also in charge of positioning the Cubs outfielders when they are on defense, making his voice known as Arrieta starts Carpenter with strike 1.
There's that breaking ball. Steps across, throws across his body. It's absolutely devastating.
A little hump in that one, like we talked about.
That one had a little height on it.
Now these 2 guys are very close. Carpenter sends one to left field. Schwarber drifting back, wind blowing out that way, and Schwarber makes a catch for the out. And that will end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Arrieta after Schwarber went deep.
Today we're going to talk about trucks.
Works for me.
Which truck brand do you think offers best-in-class HD towing?
Ford.
I would say the Ram. Okay, let's move to the second door. Best V8 horsepower.
The Ram. I say Ford on the V8. Chevy.
What about this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year?
Chevy.
What do you think?
A Ford.
The Ford?
There's no reason why they shouldn't be.
Let's see how you did. That's the Chevy Silverado HD, the Chevy Silverado, and the Chevy Colorado.
No way.
Chevy.
Wow. That's a clean sweep.
Hello, Kent Jennings. I haven't seen you since that TV quiz show.
Hello, Watson. You can see now?
I can recognize people, analyze images, and watch movies.
Well, I wrote a few books. I did a speaking tour.
I've been helping people plan for retirement, and I help doctors identify cancer treatments.
Is that all?
I've recently learned Japanese.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
I haven't learned sarcasm yet.
I can help with that.
I wanted to brew beer for a living. Sounded like a crazy dream at the time, but I was set on becoming a brewmaster. I traveled to Belgium to earn my PhD in brewing. In the process, I discovered my love for Belgian wits. This was the inspiration for the first beer we brewed in Denver, Blue Moon Belgian White. The slightly sweet Valencia orange peel and creamy oats in the beer were my twist on a traditional Belgian wit. And seeing people still enjoying it, that's why we brew.
Warum sprechen wir eigentlich Deutsch?
Ich weiß nicht.
Liegt es am Namen Winktoberfest?
Ich denke schon. Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
It's time to celebrate Winktoberfest. Half-price wings Thursday, October 15th. This is how you Sonic.
500 degrees, 40 below, and protection for 15,000 miles. Mobil 1, energy lives here.
This is the feeling of turning a game you love into a lifetime of cash. DraftKings.com, the daily fantasy baseball destination, is giving away over $300 million this baseball season. And the games are one day, so you can play for your share every single day. Just pick your sport, pick your players, and pick up your cash. Step up to the plate at DraftKings.com. Play with promo code SLIDE and get free entry in our daily contest. Get to DraftKings.com.
Our coverage of the 2015 National League Division Series on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. See all the construction going on here at Wrigley Field. They've had a 3-year unfolding of the renovations of Wrigley Field, the giant scoreboard in left, and they've got a whole new setup there beyond the third base grandstand. And their first postseason game here since the 2008 season. Michael Walker facing Jake Arrieta to start the Cubs half of the third inning. 1-0 Chicago on a Kyle Schwarber opposite field home run with 1 out last inning. Cubs are looking for their first postseason win in a game at Wrigley Field since 2003. NLCS Game 2 back in 03. In 2008 they were swept. But that's the guy that is giving the Cubs hope at this point. Nobody has this kind of weapon across Major League Baseball. And this is a postseason full of very talented pitchers as Waka strikes out Arrieta. Between innings, Matt Weiner had a chance to catch up with the Cardinals skipper, Mike Matheny.
Michael Waka's early command troubles, do they feel like an extension of September?
Yeah, we've talked about it, how, no different than everybody else, too. We got to command the fastball, and Michael's just not had that rhythm yet. I thought the last hitter, Montero, was the best I've seen his fastballs for how he was timed up, but everything else is going to feed off of that pitch, and right now he looks to be getting into a better groove with it.
Just too much plate on the changeup to Schwarber?
Well, I think not speeding anybody up. You can't go to that changeup until you've established the fastball. If he gets that fastball going, that changeup's going to be a more effective pitch.
Thanks.
All right, man.
You think about it, it's the Schwarber. We're not concerned about the fastball. He threw him a 2-0 curveball the pitch before. So in the back of his mind, he's thinking about staying back. And even when you throw a decent changeup, it goes out of the ballpark.
Strong as he is, it does.
Ballpark conditions very different from what we saw in the first two games at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. That was extremely pitcher friendly. Wind was blowing in when there was any wind. It was cool there. Different story here tonight at Wrigley. Look at those flags. Dennis Eckersley starting to shake on his way into Wrigley Field today. Looking at those ripples on Lake Michigan, right?
Let me tell you something. I played here, man. I used to take batting practice, and I'd go bridge, and I went, wait a minute. If I could do that, what are the big boys going to do? It was brutal here when the wind blew out.
Molina about to throw that one to third base. Thought he had the strikeout.
And Fowler takes a ball low this time. And so now the count is 3-2. The Cubs leadoff man Dexter Fowler, he'll be a free agent at season's end as well. He's had a good series. That one in on the hands a little bit, but got some carry to it. And Tommy Pham will make the call in the catch. There is out number 2. Our aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven.
If you've never been here before, that gives you some idea how this ballpark is shoehorned into the neighborhood. It is surrounded by Wrigleyville. One of the things that makes it unique.
Wrigleyville was alive and well hours before this game began. And we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon for Game 4 as Soler, a big swing and a miss.
You see that right over the top from Walker. You can't just pick up that changeup.
Well, his manager was referring to that exactly right. You've got to make the hitters respect the fastball before that changeup's going to be effective. And he's airing out some fastballs this inning.
Boy, he had that corner. If he hit it, he's gone.
And he hits that corner. Gets the call, and the count will even at 2-2 now on Soler. Soler with a bit of a base running blunder in the first inning. Got caught off the bag on a soft line drive. Ended up as a double play, and that one just misses. And Soler now in a full count.
It's amazing the patience Soler's had.
Really a good eye. And remember the home run he hit in St. Louis was to right center.
Curveball up.
And Soler, he got a piece that hit the ground, a foul ball. Count will remain 3-2. So 26 balls, 26 strikes thus far for Michael Wacha. He's got Bryant due next if Soler can reach with 2 outs in this inning. Bryant singled his last time up. And Soler draws the walk. So Jorge Soler showing great strike zone discipline in this postseason, and his second walk of the game will set it up for Chris Bryant.
Boy, things could be a lot worse for Walker, especially when you look at the strike to ball counts.
And he's gone past that 45 pitch mark, and yet his fastball still holding the velocity up there in the mid-90s, at least so far.
2 outs, runner at first for Bryant. The Cubs 3-hole hitter. Fastball's missing. He's trying for that corner, but he can't get the strike call. Bryant had a monster year. He's headed for the Rookie of the Year in the National League. There's a strike. That's a good pitch for Waka.
Now there's a pitch at the bottom of the zone, but it was off the plate. And what Mike Matheny talked about, Waka needing to be throwing downhill at the bottom of the zone, we haven't seen it yet. His fastball's been when it's been in the zone, it's been up.
And Bryant had a good hack at it right in the middle of the strike zone, but he missed it. He fouled it back.
You get a pitch to hit. That's it right there. Looking fastball, gets fastball.
Bryant set a Cubs rookie record for home runs and RBIs in a season, passing the great Billy Williams. 26 homers, 99 runs batted in. And he did most of his damage, Joe, here at Wrigley Field. He destroyed opposing pitchers in his home ballpark. He hit .311 here at Wrigley this year, and 21 of his 26 homers came in the friendly confines.
And some long ones.
He broke in that new scoreboard pretty well in left field with a few long home runs. That's a called strike 3. Michael Waka rings the bell with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and the inning is over, and Waka puts up a 0 in the third. 1-0 Cubs, 3 in the books. Game 3 of the NLDS.
The Beam family has a long history of doing things their own way. They age every drop of Jim Beam twice as long as the law requires. So, 4 long years from now, I'll be back for this one. Jim Beam, make history.
Now with no monthly payments until 2016, bring home the go-kart handling of the Mini Hardtop. Fit more friends with the Hardtop 4-door. Or the bigger Mini Countryman with available all-wheel drive. Bring home your Mini today at the 0 for 15 Mini sales event with 0 hassles and 0 holdups. It's all thrills and no monthly payments until 2016.
FanDuel has definitely changed my Sundays. It's made it a lot more interesting.
FanDuel's one-week fantasy football leagues are paying $75 million a week with immediate cash payouts and no commitment.
I've deposited a total of $35 on FanDuel and won over $2 million.
Just choose a league, pick your team, and get your cash winnings after Monday night.
It's like the best adrenaline rush ever.
Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Go to FanDuel.com and enter promo code END.
You ever feel like you're spinning?
Like you're stuck in the same place in life? Just going round and round and round? Yeah, man. Been there.
No, actually spinning.
Oh, we can fix that by going to Midas. They have a great selection of tires. Sorry, Doug. I thought you were trying to get deep.
It's time to take a closer look at your tires. Get up to $160 back by mail on a set of 4 Goodyear, Cooper, and other select brands. Tires, brakes, oil, everything.
How do you say breakfast in Korean?
아침 식사.
How long does milk last?
1 week after the sell-by date.
How much vitamin C is in an orange?
Set timer for 12 minutes.
Okay, 12 minutes.
Where can we find donuts around here?
Coffee? What about crepes? How about a bagel?
What is the most important meal of the day?
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Harold Reynolds here. When I need to catch up on baseball, I pull up my MLB.com at-bat app. Highlights and updates whenever I want. Follow the 2015 postseason. Get baseball's #1 app with more than 40 million downloads. The MLB.com at-bat app.
A friendly rivalry for the most part. First time these two have matched up in a postseason. Say official caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. You can celebrate with your favorite team at the MLB.com shop. Well, a great crowd, lively crowd here at Wrigley Field. You knew it would be that way. Sellout crowds in St. Louis. They were extremely loud at Busch Stadium. This is one of those series you figure they're going to be talking about for a long, long time. These two franchises have been playing against each other since 1892. But for the first time, they're matching up in the postseason. Jake Arrieta facing Stephen Piscotty. to start the St. Louis fourth. Piscotty, Holiday, and Hayward. Arrieta with 3 scoreless. He did give up a leadoff double to Jason Hayward in the second inning. Most of his outs on the ground thus far. Has a couple of strikeouts as well. 3 of them, as a matter of fact.
Boy, you see the way he yanks that ball across his body. I mean, you don't teach that. The way he pitches is like, you think it's a sore arm waiting to happen.
You have to be really strong too, don't you, to get that breaking ball to work.
And this guy is so strong. He is a stud. His Wally workout is what he is.
Is that a yanking one?
Is that Wally workout?
Yeah. I mean, my man is in serious shape. I mean, he's got some funky things that he does. You know, not that Pilates are funky, but he's got a lot of other things that he does.
He's 29 years of age. Got drafted out of TCU. He and Matt Carpenter were teammates at TCU. Matter of fact, Arrieta was a groomsman in Carpenter's wedding. So there's a connection there. Went to TCU by way of Weatherford Junior College. And Carpenter knows this is going to be an interesting matchup. He's faced him before, but never under this kind of pressure. Three-two pitch to Piscotty, and it's over his head and back to the screen. So Piscotty will draw the walk. First walk issued by Arrieta, second base runner for St. Louis. Between innings, Matt Weiner had a chance to catch up with Joe Madden.
Joe, Jake has set the bar so high. I guess if you wanted to nitpick, you could say he got into some deeper counts earlier than normal, but otherwise.
Yeah, a little behind in a couple of the counts. The finish on the pitch, it's been a little bit up from my perspective over here. If he gets the ball back down where he'd like to, getting some better counts to get back to normal.
Kyle Schwarber's second home run of the postseason already. What impresses you about this kid?
Well, he took a changeup and hit it to the opposite field. If you watch him during the course of the game, he's never in a hurry. He's never in a rush. He's definitely in the moment. That's what I appreciate about him the most.
Thanks, Joe.
My pleasure, Matt.
And thanks to Joe Madden. And Arrieta misfires to Matt Holliday, so he is working on a shutout through the first 3 innings here, Dennis, but he's not the dominant Jake Arrieta. I think Matt put it well to Joe Madden. The bar is set so high with this guy, but he is into some 3-ball counts here. He's got 4 of them already to the first 11 batters he's faced, and his pitch count is at 48 already.
And especially Piscotty, who's 0-2, and you saw he just yanked the ball in the dirt, almost hit him with a 3-2 pitch. I mean, he's way out of sync.
Holiday, big power bat at the plate. Got a lead runner on. Now Arrieta is a guy you can run on. He gives up very few base runners, but you saw the Pirates very aggressive on the base paths with Arrieta, and the combination, Joe, of Arrieta and Montero does present some stolen base opportunities for the opponent.
27 was
27. Yeah, I mean, it's like he and Lester both just give up stolen bases. This guy is out of sync. He's yanking everything.
Yeah, keep it. Straight innings of scoreless baseball. That was only his second walk, but tonight he is really having to work from behind the 8 ball in terms of the count. His pitching coach will go out and try to get him squared away.
And Chris Bosio has had a lot to do with the success of Jake Arrieta, and those are words from Jake Arrieta, who was not this kind of pitcher with the Baltimore Orioles. Arrieta was traded in July of 13 for Scott Feldman and Steve Clevenger. The Orioles also threw in Pedro Strop, so the Cubs have been able to turn that trade into an ace and a late inning reliever. So a quick visit by Bosio, and let's check in with Matt. What do you have, Matt?
With the Orioles, Jake Arrieta's numbers with the Orioles were fairly pedestrian, as you know, and when he was traded over to Chicago, they actually sent him down to the minor leagues before they brought him back up. I talked to Mark Reynolds of the Cardinals, who played with Arrieta in Baltimore. He says he doesn't see a lot different except for he's pitching from the right side of the rubber, the third base side of the rubber. He said he told him back when they were teammates that he had the best stuff of anybody on the team.
There's no question about his talent, but Joe, it was all about his positioning on the rubber, the fact that he threw a little bit across his body, or they allowed him to as a member of the Cubs, but his numbers didn't show in Baltimore the kind of pitcher that he has been this season. He's got a chance to win a Cy Young Award. But he's working himself into some trouble here in the 4th inning. Back-to-back walks, Piscotty and Holiday, and 2 on with nobody out.
Said this about Waka in the 1st inning, that you can't pitch behind in the count in this ballpark tonight with the wind blowing out. Same goes for Arrieta. You can make a mistake just as easily as anyone else that would fly out of here what would normally be a routine fly ball.
And the one hitter in the Cardinal lineup that has his number, Jason Hayward, will step up there with 2 on, nobody out. Hayward doubled his last time up. And a swing and a miss.
This is territory that Arrieta has not been in a long, long time. I think he's ever walked 2 guys in a row to begin with nobody out. And you're yanking a ball. I mean, he's just got to keep on letting it go. You can't try to aim anything.
Hayward's a tough guy to double up. He is very fast. And what a pick by Montero. Throw to second. Piscotty is back. Boy, that was a heck of a play by Miguel Montero. Otherwise, you're looking at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out.
It's amazing a guy makes a play on a backhand. He's coming out firing.
I think they had that already set up. Russell was already darting in behind Piscotty, so he wanted to short hop that and make a throw.
Could have easily gotten back to the screen.
Easily.
1 ball, 1 strike on Hayward. And he pulls this one foul. Kind of goes 1 and 2.
Everything's been really hard this inning, including those hard breaking balls that got away. He took a little off there and got a good result, got a strike.
That's what he talks about. Add a little, take a little off with his breaking ball, and you saw it there. He's looking for a punch out big time. He's going to get it with something hard, break it down.
Ground ball, foul. And Hayward staying alive here. Hayward coming to the Cardinals from the Atlanta Braves. It was a significant trade for St. Louis. The tragic passing of Oscar Taveras last year. And aside from the emotional toll that it took, the Cardinals found themselves without a capable outfielder. John Mozeliak made the deal, trading Shelby Miller to Atlanta to acquire Hayward, who will be a free agent at season's end. And he has had a terrific year, Hayward. He's been a big part of St. Louis's success. They had 100 wins, most wins in the major leagues, and Hayward right there in the middle of it. You could call him your team MVP this season. And Hayward takes a ball low. Arrieta misses with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
And Jason will be a free agent at the end of the year too, which was another one of the reasons the Braves made that deal. They got a player back that certainly was instrumental in their season in terms of his, even though his numbers didn't imply that. Shelby Miller had a terrific year.
And a called strike 3. Arrieta comes back with the fastball. And Hayward just a spectator. Down he goes. Strikeout number 4 for Arrieta.
That's hard to think. You think with Arrieta out there, especially when you're struggling. That's not a really good breaking ball. You see a hard one there. You see a looping breaking ball that he fouls off. Another little cutter. Misses with a fastball and freezes him with a fastball inside. Big pitch.
High stress pitches early in this game for Arrieta. Had to pitch out of a jam in the 2nd inning after a leadoff double. Now 1 away. 2 on for Johnny Peralta.
And Peralta frozen, and he's a guy that likes to go after the first pitch in run-scoring situations.
Peralta in this postseason is hitless. He is 0 for 8. Had an 8-pitch battle with Arrieta in the second inning, resulting in a ground out to third base. He is a double play candidate. And he lines out in right field. That's going to slice into the seats. A foul ball, and it's no balls and 2 strikes on Peralta.
We talked before about Arrieta goes at 90%, he says a lot. Well, if there's the 100%, now it's time. These last 2 hitters, talk about stress piece.
Good fastball hitter here in Peralta. If you think you're going to sneak one by him, though, he's taking a big chance.
The 0-2, and Peralta hammers one into left field. Schwarber looks up. That ball's off the ivy. Coming in to score is Piscotti. Hayward will end up at third, and it's an RBI double for Johnny Peralta. All tied at 1 as the St. Louis shortstop delivers.
0-2 breaking ball. It threw fastballs, and he just flips this ball. I thought it had a chance, but you see the hanger. He had some topspin on this ball, or this is a 3-run bomb. Hanger 0-2 off the ivy right there. Luckily for Arrieta, that ball was hit good.
First hit of the postseason for Johnny Peralta this year, and it's a big one. It drives in a run, all tied at 1. Cardinals with runners at second and third for Tommy Pham, who takes a strike.
Again, stressful inning, something he's not accustomed to recently. In fact, he hasn't had an inning where he's allowed 2 runs or more since July 25th.
That run snaps a scoreless streak for Arrieta at 43 2/3 innings here at Wrigley Field. There's a chopper, third base. Bryant has to go to first, and the Cardinals will take the lead on a ground ball out by Tommy Pham. Put the ball in play, and the Cardinals deliver again. Pham with another run batted in, and it's 2-1 St. Louis.
This was a smart thing to do. You see this high chopper. Bryant takes a look. I think he made the right to go to first base. I think that was the play to make.
Now Tommy Pham has a home run in this series. Now an RBI ground out gives the Cardinals the lead here in the 4th inning. That was the one card that Matheny played here today, different from what we thought. He said Pham's in there for Arrieta. Now runner at third for Molina. He swings away at the first pitch.
That hurt.
And that left hand comes off the bat.
That's the first time we've seen a reaction from him on a swing or on a pitch when he was catching.
Now Molina is using an interesting bat. The handle of his bat is an axe handle cut, which is a little bit unusual, trying to give him a little more protection. And
it's almost like you swing and get fooled and don't make contact, and it hurts more. You almost need to hit the ball.
The left thumb is the problem.
This is one tough cookie. For him to react like that, it had to be very painful.
And if you're Arrieta, you just keep coming with the fastball. It's quickly 0-2 on Molina. And a little ground ball. Arrieta makes the play, and that will retire the side. But the St. Louis Cardinals, they strike for 2 against Jake Arrieta. Johnny Peralta, Tommy Pham with runs batted in. 2-1 Cardinals as we go to the home 4th.
Hold the phone, because AT&T and DirecTV are now one, which means you can access your DVR at the DMV. Change channels while he changes pants. You don't have to be a couch potato. You can be a train potato and let them watch watch all the shows they love inside the ride that you really kind of hate. Introducing the all-in-one plan, only from DirecTV and AT&T.
All right, now that we have merged with Cable World, we are so excited to hear your big ideas on how we're going to take on DirecTV. So over to you.
Thank you. Full disclosure, we forgot to come up with ideas.
I mean, we got messed up last night. You're lucky we're even here.
But we did bring breakfast.
Bagels?
Nope.
Oh, my goodness.
Peel and eat shrimp.
Not how I would have gone, but it's good. It's innovative, and that's what we want here.
Get rid of cable and switch to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
The 1962 escape is the greatest unsolved mystery of the 20th century.
There's no one alive that we've ever shown this piece of evidence to.
Once I handed him that picture, I think a light bulb went off in his head.
This is a complete game changer.
I knew that we were going to prove something big.
People are going to be shocked at what they see.
We're raising money for our pet rescue. We're raising awareness. I'm boosting spirits with t-shirts.
Booster.com is the easy way for you or your group to raise money for any cause. Perfect for PTAs, charity walks, personal fundraisers, causes big and small by selling t-shirts and collecting donations online. Just design your t-shirt and drive everyone to your personalized booster page. We'll ship the orders and send you the money you raised. Visit Booster.com and start your free campaign today.
Cardinals lead 2-1 over the Cubs. Bottom of the fourth inning. They honor the great Ernie Banks here at Wrigley Field. It is Chevy Truck Month, and it's time to make a strong decision. Like choosing a Chevy Silverado. Chevrolet is proud to be the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. Cubs got a run in the second inning on a Kyle Schwarber opposite field homer. Jake Arrieta walks the first two batters. Strike one.
Big time shutdown inning wanted here by the Cardinals against the middle of their lineup.
Rizzo hit a soft liner that turned into a double play to end the first inning. Rizzo now 0 for 11 in the postseason. Bounced into a double play. And in this series, he is 0 for 7. Shift is on for Rizzo as it is for Schwarber. Cardinals not a team that shifts very often. And Rizzo right to the only man over there, Johnny Peralta. And there is out number one. Gives us a chance for a game break. Let's check in with Casey Stern. He is in our Atlanta studio. What do you have, Casey?
All right, BA, thank you very much. This game break brought to you by our friends over at Bleacher Report. Matt Harvey against Brett Anderson tonight, but the story much of the last couple of days has been Chase Utley on the roster and eligible with the ongoing appeal. He will not be in the lineup despite 6 out of 18 with a homer in his career against Harvey. It's Mets and Dodgers coming up at 8:30 on TBS. We send it back to you in Chicago.
All right, Casey, thanks. Looking forward to that matchup. And that, of course, is the big news of the postseason thus far is Starlin Castro. He will watch this one fly. He will watch this one fly. Castro ties it up at 2.
I'll tell you what, you'd be flipping a breaking ball over to get over for strike one, which they have. I don't know if he's sitting on it, but I'll tell you what, a little bit out front, stayed back enough to drive this ball a long, long ways.
Hit it high and watch it fly tonight. Ball is jumping.
All this talk about the pitchers, specifically Arrieta, and the offense charged up early for both clubs. Cardinals just got 2, and now Castro, the second Cubs homer of the night. And with Schwarber coming up, they will put the shift on. We'll start at Castro. Whatever it is that he lost earlier in the season, he has found in the last 2 months of the regular season and on into the postseason. That is his 3rd hit already. Could have easily had 3 hits in game 2. Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. The home run by Schwarber back in the 2nd inning.
On a changeup.
Not a whole lot of places that ball goes out, what, 369 feet. But it found the basket here at Wrigley.
2 home runs in 4 innings off of Walker. He gave up 19 in the regular season, but 8 of those came in his last 30 innings of work in the regular season.
And Schwarber pops this one foul and out of play. So that home run by Schwarber left the bat with an exit velocity of 101. That one from Castro, 100.
He just stayed back on that, you know, just reacted to it. His hands, kept his hands back.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Schwarber takes a ball low.
Tell you what, Walker's been in and out of the strike zone a lot.
Kyle Schwarber is the first Cubs rookie with 2 homers in 1 postseason. And he's just getting started. Down he goes. Walker comes back to get him. A strikeout for the 2nd out of the inning. Good answer after the home run for Michael Walker.
That wasn't a changeup he hit out. That ball's down and away, running hard. That is Walker's big league changeup that he has, and that's where you want it, right there.
And with 2 away, here is Addison Russell. And a foul pop behind the plate his last time up. And he's on the first pitch, and that ball's hit well left field. And Addison Russell will watch this one bounce into the ivy. On his way to 2nd, now thinking 3rd. He's on his way. The cutoff and relay, not in time. Russell with a triple. Well, the Cubs rookies have come to play here tonight. Bryant, Schwarber, Russell all done damage.
It's kind of risky there. Fastball in. He turns on this thing. I thought it was going out of the ballpark. He didn't get it hit high enough. It goes off the ivy. I thought it stuck out there for a second, but it's risky going to 3rd base. He gets there. It's exciting play, but it just, I don't know if it's just too risky with 2 outs, but he gets there. What a play.
He was taking advantage of Matt Holliday, trying to take advantage of his arm. Now they're checking him to make sure he was okay after that slide. I didn't see his fingers go right into the base, if that's what it is they're looking at.
Athletic trainer P.J. Mainville's out there with Joe Madden taking a look at Addison Russell.
Remember, he made a headfirst slide, I think it was in Pittsburgh, where he got his left hand trapped under him a little bit, and they were concerned about that.
He's stumbling his way to 3rd base. I think he thought it was gone for a second when he first hit it, but
it was his right hand that got the bag, but he hit the ground hard.
And they are taking him out. Wow. This is a big loss for the Chicago Cubs. So Russell is coming out, and they lose their starting shortstop. Javier Baez will come in, a very capable defensive shortstop in his own right. He will come in to run, and I'm sure he will remain in the game at the shortstop position. See if we can pick something up here on the slide.
Let's see, but they're not going to pitch to Montero. They're going to obviously give it to Arrieta.
Pitcher due up next, so an intentional pass coming here with 2 outs. And the one thing about the Cubs, the one reason why they are here for this postseason is their depth and their minor league system producing very well, much like the Cardinals. And that's going to be tested here now that Russell is out, and Javier Baez, who was thought to be the shortstop of the future even as early as last year, is in there for Russell. And Montero with the free pass will set it up for the pitcher Arrieta, who handles the bat pretty well for a pitcher.
He's going to be pitched to like a hitter right here.
A couple of homers this summer.
There was a stretch there in the second half where Arrieta hit as many home runs as he allowed. 2. He hit 152 this season, 12 hits on the year, and you can see he's got a pretty good idea at the plate. And just as you would expect, he goes up there with no batting gloves, a big old bat. Looks like Paul Bunyan up there swinging the bat.
No elbow guard. He's the only pitcher in the league probably who doesn't wear an elbow guard.
Throwing fastball away. I thought he'd throw him some hooks.
Wow, that was interesting. Did you see the hot dog wrapper went right by the foot of Michael Walker just as he was letting the pitch go? He says, I don't want this trash.
Used to drive me crazy when it go in front of me. And then you'd wait and say, well, I'll just wait till it goes, and it wouldn't leave. So you don't know whether to call timeout or what. And then go get the thing and put it in your pocket, you know?
But every player looks for a moment to give it to an umpire. Walker just gave it to him. The trash belongs with the umpire. Arrieta, swing and a miss.
Well, he just went to heat 3 pieces of cheese in a row.
Not going to speed his bat up for him.
And a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Strikeout to end it, but Starlin Castro ties this game at 2. 4 in the books at Wrigley.
We don't have to worry about predators like our ancestors did. No saber-toothed tigers stalking from the brush. No dire wolves circling the camp. There are no more monsters to fear. And so, we have to build our own.
Bob Dylan. To improve my language skills, I've read all your lyrics.
You've read all of my lyrics.
I can read 800 million pages per second.
That's fast.
My analysis shows your major themes are that time passes, and love fades.
Well, that sounds about right.
I have never known love.
Maybe we should write a song together.
I can sing.
You can sing?
Do-be-bop-a-doo. Dooby-dooby-doo. Do-do. Dooby-doo.
Before earning enough cash back from Bank of America to take their act to the next level. Before earning 1% cash back everywhere, every time. 2% back at the grocery store. And 3% back on gas. Vince of the Flying Branzinos got a Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards credit card. Because he may earn his living jumping through hoops, but he'd rather not earn cash back that way. That's the spectacle of rewarding connections. Apply online or at a Bank of